happy to see you. And today we have a very special guest coming from Seattle.
All right.
This is Michael Lai. Hi,
Hi, Mindy. Hi, Joe. I'm glad to be here. What a great day in the Orange County, California area.
That's right. Little Saigon is not so little these days. It's opening up, and like I said, we have the great Michael here from Seattle. A little more sunshine than Seattle, maybe today.
Well, it is summertime in Seattle, but it's nice here.
Right.
You Southern California is always have better weather, warmer weather.
But I mean, actually, the times I've been up in Seattle, suddenly the sky's open and it's sunny and everyone's doing outdoor activities like crazy. It's like the sun doesn't come out enough, so people are just like, like biking and rowing and running, and out here no one walks. You look on the streets, it's just cars, right?
So just like us, Charles, Michael Lai, he is one of the first people that working with the RER founding and
That's what I heard.
over there in Seattle. Can you share with us about the experience with RER and real estate? That's your field,
how'd you get involved?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I came to Seattle in 1993. From the Philippines, from Vietnamese refugee camp.
Right.
And I started the Windermere Real Estate up there. We used to have 100 team members, serving the community. And Alan and John from the Bay Area.
Sure.
That's where at the Windermere owner to support the organization.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
And then so we were the first. We were the first 15 people that signed up. And the
with
first meeting,
right?
and we have the first meeting at the China Harbor restaurant. It worked great. And
it always starts off at some Chinese restaurant, right? And because Aria started in a Chinese restaurant in Houston, Texas. I mean, they had to do it and start it somewhere. So.
And with John Wong, right?
With John and Alan, that's what.
Fathers of Aria.
Yes.
And back then, I'm the first Windermere owner in city of Seattle in 29 years.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So this meeting went great, and Asian America Real Estate Association didn't know that a couple of decades later, we have over 18,000 members.
Yeah, no, it's really pushing really well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's an important part of Aria, in the Northwest. Because actually a lot of Asian immigration happened up in that area, right? It wasn't just us, it was the Japanese came into Seattle area, a lot of the Chinese also came in through. I found out looking at my old passports that my very first port of entry was Seattle. I was really surprised. I thought I came through San Francisco.
Wow.
So when I first came over, a long time ago,
somehow related, huh?
Yeah, it was really surprising. So, it's in 2017. I think I probably met you up at the GLS up there, right? That's when Jennifer and who's the other gentleman? It was like co-presidents, right? Yeah, that was one of the few chapters that you had. That you had two chapter presidents at the same time. But that was an amazing event, I must tell you.
Yeah, that's what a great event. That's why we have the luxury summit up there. And I have a chance to really meet with some of the really great members, Alan and those guys come back to Seattle and kind of reminding us about how we got started with the association. So I have a chance to inviting everybody to come on a bus tour, come and visit Seattle Modern Living and the project that we have up there.
Right.
That's a really fun one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to actually see, we sometimes go to these events like we were just in Dallas, and now we got a trip to Houston soon, Aspen. And all we sometimes will see is the Uber ride from the airport to the hotel venue, do the event, and don't get to see the rest of the city, right? My tour of Dallas was the Uber ride home. And these guys are laughing because they were halfway through the airport. I'm like, well, I see, let's see what I see outside the car door. But it's great to actually see and check out the actual properties during these events and stuff. And I know in Seattle we had a chance a little bit to do that.
Okay, so let's talk about your journey with real estate. I know you're the broker, experienced broker with a lot of agents, but now you're in developing. So many things to know about.
Yeah, but how'd you get started? Was it a first buying experience? What happened?
Well, I came from Vietnam. My dad is a high-ranking Vietnamese officer in the South.
Okay.
So I escaped to China from Hue in 1989 and I went to Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
And then so my mom and my brother and sister also escaped later in 4 different boats to Hong Kong.
Wow.
So we landed in Seattle in 1993. So I got involved into real estate in 1998 and be able to help over 3,000 customers up there.
Wow.
Yeah, the Vietnamese community will grow it not at large as Orange County and San Jose, but we were still. So homeownership is really important for the community up there. Later on, back in 2007, 2008, I happened to work for one of my clients. It's American Life, and they own and operate the largest EB5 regional center in the United States, right? So that's where I came up with the idea. How about if we marry between real estate, investment, and immigration?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and at that time that was just starting to blow up, right? I remember probably in maybe 2015, 2017. And that was pretty much at least the peak, right? I mean, there was just everything was coming. We had hotels, everything was an EB5 project. It seemed like.
Yeah, that's true. And the program when we started, it started from South Korea and Japan and UK.
Oh wow!
Back when we started in 07, 08, where most of our customers coming from there. But then then 2012, 13, when mainland China learned about it,
right.
And it becomes, before you know it, mainland China took over 82% of the total visa come to the United States.
Right.
Yeah.
Notice he skipped from 2008 to 2012. Those were kind of the tough years of real estate, right? I went straight to 2012 and
yeah,
prices started going up.
majority was bad, but to me, it's not bad at all.
That
For
was
the time that I'm helping a lot of distressed owner and then things. Yeah.
So 2012, the economy is starting to get back on its feet quite a bit from, 2011, I think was, at least in Southern California, the bottom of the real estate market. So things started getting a little better and creeping up. And, obviously a lot of hunger for developments and stuff.
Yeah.
So how was that run that we had, up until about 2017?
I started the EB5 Regional Center from real estate broker.
Right.
Like most of the regional center, they own and operate in New York by all this big PE, private equity fund.
Sure.
Right. So everybody were looking for like a cheaper, for money to fund their project.
Right.
Yeah, but for me, what I started was I came from Vietnam, and I happened to witness the migration from my own country to the United States.
Sure.
And today we have over like 2 million Vietnamese that live in the U.S. right now.
Right.
So my heart for the program is how to come back and help the people that needed what I have now. Right. So that's the whole reason behind that. To 2008, 2012, that was top market for developer, owner, and investor, right? Where the capital market and the equity market is struggling to get equity financing, funding their project. And a lot of people would jump into EB5 program.
Yeah, and then with the regional center, they were coming in with only $500,000 or plus some fees to get their citizenship, right? So that was a pretty lucrative thing, and I know a lot of people made a lot of money. Don't know, how the developments went, but there were some risky developments that they were trying to build. So from what I understand, you had to have a certain amount of unemployment in your county to actually even have an EB5. So at the time, even in Orange County, there wasn't a whole lot of EB5 going on because the unemployment rate wasn't below 5%. So it's kind of interesting, where those projects were happening. It's pretty amazing. Well, I mean, it's great that you helped, a lot of business owners and, the whole point of EB5 was to create jobs, right? A certain development had to create a certain amount of jobs to make sense, and we hope that at least accomplish that.
So being a broker owner and shifting into development, do you have any specialty, any tips to share with the new people that want to join the industry?
No, I do think that I do think that the immigration is always that the U.S. is country the immigration, right? Back in the 18th century, where 95% most migrants were coming from Europe and Africa. Yeah, but today's that's why the Statue of Liberty is located in New York Harbor. But
we got the Golden Gate on this side, right?
That's right. But today, 95% of investors would coming from Asia.
Asia,
right?
yes.
Yeah, and pretty much like every market from the Bay Area to LA, to Seattle, Portland, there's much more people from Asia that come to the U.S. and the issue right now is that there are no other pathway for the investor to seeking the U.S. citizenship, right? I mean, we do have other programs like E1, E2, LR1, and all that, but nothing really replacing the EB-5 program.
Right.
And the Senate is approved the 5-year extension for the bill, so we're expecting that going to be approved. The program going to be approved until like 2026.
Do you think they'll lower though? I know they raised the lowest limit that you could do. I think it's up to what, $750 or $1 million. What is the cheapest I could get in on EB-5 using a regional center right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. November of 2019, DHS is changing the minimum investment from 500 to 900. That located in the TEA area, target unemployment area.
Right.
For the investment outside the target unemployment area, that going from 1 million to 1.8.
Wow.
Right,
Yeah,
and so
it's going to slow that a little bit down, huh? On people like coming in, but probably attract more serious people.
Yeah, attracting much more serious people, and I do think the industry, and then also 2016 when the U.S. is started the trade war with China.
Yeah.
And 80% plus of the investors on the program from mainland China.
Right.
And that creates another challenge too. And I do think that the program going to enter into a different area when the investor attitude and expectation on the project and the regional center are changing.
Sure.
And then at the same time, because whenever you take 82% one single market out of the industry, that creates a lot of challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what happened. I mean, it was mainly Chinese investment coming in, and there was buildings. Some of these office buildings had so many regional centers in it. I remember going to a place to meet and to enter one of the suites, and we ended up in the wrong office because they all looked like something regional center. They just had initials. There's so many in the same building, right? But they had to have a physical location, right, to have the regional center, I guess. So
doing those work like that, you must love a lot. You must like people. You must like to see people, talk to people, help people. And what about you? I want to know a little bit more about you. What is your hobby? What do you like to do besides
he
just
likes
do business?
EB-5 is his hobby, right? He does real estate with EB-5 on the side.
Well, Mindy, everything that we do, you have the passion behind it, and they say that, when you love what you do, you don't have to work another day. I came from Vietnam, my dad is a high-ranking officer in Vietnam, and, all this, 60, 70, and the challenge of the war and fighting and all that, right? And that's how it led to the 2 million Vietnamese that migrated to the U.S.
Right.
So I got into real estate and I want to become a developer, right? So, we're focused on building, and at the same time, I see a lot of people, coming to the U.S., there's it's still immigration is still very challenging to come to the U.S. So what I want to do is create a pathway of U.S. citizenship for foreign investor and the institution company, and a pathway for them to invest and enter the U.S. Doing project, invest into the project, and creating more job and housing. Of course, right now we have a housing crisis in the country. Right. So hopefully some of this FDR, foreign direct investment, that will be continue and help out to become more of a solution for a problem that we all face in the marketplace. Yeah.
See how we went from what are your hobbies straight back into
So
EB5. So that is it is.
So this is hobby is just to think about helping other people.
Yeah. So what do you do
that's
for
his
work?
passion.
Like, I mean, all right. 2020 was a very challenging year for many businesses, and so can you tell us maybe some personal stories about how you got through 2020 and
last year,
what do you see for
COVID year.
2021? Because that was a rough year.
That's really a rough year for all the developer, owner, and investor, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so I remember we're moving our office from Shanghai and then Beijing to Hanoi and Saigon in Vietnam. And we're grand opening the office back in the New Year's, right? The year of the rats, right? So, and then boom, COVID-19 happened, and all the all the retail, hospitality, right, is facing a very challenging time. And so we do have over 100 plus investor, like home buyer coming from Vietnam that signed up through our effort and our work over there to come to the United States and visit the area, and also have an opportunity to learn more about the U.S. and all that. And then we have to really nobody could come during this time, so we have to wait.
Just be patient, right?
Yeah. It is a challenging, but it's because of our commitment into the program and what we wanted to do. So we just gonna have to work through a lot of that. At the same time, the company is focused on domestic development and investment. And then we run another funding. We have two funding that we're running right now. One is Seattle Modern Living Opportunity Fund. So we really accelerates our domestic investment and development program. Right. Today we already complete over like 62 different development projects under this fund.
Wow.
Yeah. But the thing that we're excited the most is the green card fund, right? Foreign buyer can seek in the U.S. citizenship by investing to the fund to enter the U.S.
And then the fact that the U.S. still remains a number one place for investment, simply because we don't have the CRS or the FACTA rules, where we don't. If a foreign investor invests in the United States, the government doesn't tell the other country what they're doing investment. There's no reciprocal agreement like some other countries have. So someone comes and invests in the United States is not going to tell their host country, hey, the money is here. So it kind of provides a bit of transparency for them to not have to worry about things, and it just makes it more open. So despite what you hear, it is still the best place to invest, because of the freeness of the markets and what you can do, and property rights, right? You can actually own property. Many countries you can't own property. Foreigners still can't, and Americans even can't own property in many other foreign countries. So this is a unique opportunity, I think.
I would absolutely agree with you on that one. But the U.S. still definitely the destination for foreign investors to come, especially from Asia. But at the same time, I look at a lot of challenging that country in Asia are facing right now, starting with China, right? With the rollback of the CCP, the government over there is prohibited investor to come to the U.S. But at the same time, I went Hong Kong 31 years ago, and the local people there look at me and say, why did you come here? You know, why did you escape your country? You
That
know,
was the past. Yeah.
and then I told the people that I'm seeking the way to come to America, to go to the U.S. Right?
Right.
But you know that it's 31 years later. You know, Hong Kong probably facing the same problem that our Vietnamese people was facing.
Yeah, no,
Right?
they're. I mean, it's Taiwan's also possibly having the same issues. It's the Hong Kong is not the Hong Kong we knew from even a few years ago. So very challenging. But I think people are resilient. People are just not going to let things happen. I think the Asian mindset is starting to awaken more, especially in the United States recently. We have a lot of hate issues and things. Asians are finally starting to speak up, you know, and not put up with, you know, the wrongs and things. So, but it's good to hear, and it's great that you're passionate about, you know, those kinds of things. What ARIA stands for, of course, is Sustainable Asian Homeownership Opportunities for Everybody. And boy, looks like you've done so much for the community, and looks like you have no personal life, so it's all business. And you just work on it, but we really do
Look at how
appreciate
big
what you do.
a passions that he has.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Yeah,
No time
really.
to ride a bike or walk down the beach with Michael here. It's all business anyway. Any other thoughts or questions you might have?
Last thought that you had?
No, I think that, you know, it's Joe and Mindy. I appreciate the that you know taking the time, you know, meeting with us. Also have a class that where we can learn from each other. Have a great event here at in the heart of the
Little Saigon.
Little Saigon.
For those
right?
of you know, this morning, right before
Yes.
we're doing this, we were having what do we have this morning here?
We have a session with Michael. He presented the project and then he shared his story, his journey to everybody
Right.
that maybe would have a chance for people to invest over there in his project all over from San Diego and then also, you know, Seattle and
Right.
might be in Vietnam too. So Michael I from Seattle, if anybody want to hear, I have his contact. Reach out to us.
It'll be
HPT
streaming on the
Realty.
bottom there, and you know, maybe Michael will want to just move his license to California and join
You never
HPT.
know.
You never know, right? So, a possible future HPT.
That's how ARIA connect friends together
That's
to
right.
make
Yeah.
great things together.
Yeah, now we probably met in 2017, but now we really met. So
Really in person.
now we know where to send, and you know, investments and development center.
Awesome.
All right, well, that's a wrap for today. The amazing Michael from Seattle here, you know, so passionate about everything, especially in the EB5 investment and development.
Exactly.
Really happy to have you here, Michael.
Thank you,
Appreciate
John.
you coming on our show.
All right,
Thank you,
thank
Mindy.
you, Michael. Thank you.
All right, well, that wraps it up for this week's Mindy's Manic Monday. Join us next week where we will probably have another
special.
amazing guest here today. So, see you guys.
Bye.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah.
Great job. Yeah.
Let me give you some tissue. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
sorry. I was gonna stop it in the middle, but we had something going. So.